Hello and welcome to another episode of Swapping Joysticks. It is the 2nd of August, and yesterday was Yorkshire Day.
Oh,
Happy Yorkshire Day.
happy Yorkshire Day to you, Ben.
How are you going to celebrate Yorkshire Day? Or how did you celebrate Yorkshire Day?
By kissing a Yorkshireman.
Oh, well, make sure you find.
Yeah.
You have a good
I'll find
choice.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. I am Ben.
I'm Ed.
And we are Swapping Joysticks.
We are Ben and Ed.
No, Ben and Ed doesn't. Well, Ben and Ed. At least it starts with a Ben.
Wow.
Ed and Ben doesn't sound right. Well, Ed and Ben.
Normally we drink tea, so I'm now drinking a very small tea.
Otherwise known as coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. But yeah, welcome. We are in it's actually, this room's not too hot now, which is good. So we should have a lot of energy with our coffee and the fact that it's quite cool.
Well, hopefully.
And you've done your yoga, so you're probably very relaxed, aren't you?
Zen, in the zone.
Although I think your rage levels went up when I came in, came home and opened the door and you were doing your yoga, and I was like, big stretch.
The most infuriating response. Please do not ever do that again.
Only if I ever see you doing yoga. I think, yeah, anybody who has a partner or a friend who does yoga, every time you see them do it, big stretch.
No, if you have a puppy that does it, it's allowed. I am not a puppy.
So when they do big yawn, you don't like that either, do you?
No, don't you fucking dare treat me like a dog.
But dogs are cute and loyal and lovely, and
I'm not any of those things.
not loyal. Wow. Well,
no, I'm very loyal.
that is, yeah. Well, it just makes me want a puppy. Well, if you don't get a puppy, then I'm going to have to treat you as the puppy.
You can't blackmail me into getting a puppy.
To
Also,
be
that
honest-
won't work because you don't need to do that.
Yeah, I could come home with a puppy one day and you'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Don't know how it's going to work,
yeah.
but yes, great.
We'll deal with it.
Yeah. But yeah, it has been a week. It's been a warm week.
It's been ridiculously hot this week. I do not function in hot weather.
No, you're like, well, actually, yeah, you are a bit like a northerner in that case. Anything above like 20 degrees, you're like, oh, it's too hot.
20?
Yeah.
Try like 5.
Wow. You like the cold weather.
I like cold weather. I like big warm jumpers and being cozy by the fire.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Stick an hoodie on, get on the sofa, wrap up.
And that's amusing for someone who was born in August. I don't like summer.
See, I like summer. I like the blue skies. I don't like it when it's sweltering or really humid, but I really like hot days when because I mean, living in Spain kind of makes you get used to it a bit more. So then when it's taken away, you kind of appreciate hot days. But then you're inside in the UK and there's no aircon and and it's humid and you've got the smells of London around you and it's like, no.
So that's the thing is so for instance, when we went on holiday last year to Cape Verde and
Cabo Verde.
And it's buildings that were built for heat, and you're by the sea, and there's a nice breeze, and you're probably not wearing very much, and that's allowed because you're on holiday.
Well, you're not.
Then I can deal with the heat, but when you're in the middle of London and it's humid and sweltering and you're on the tube,
and it's frowned upon if you get on there in your underwear.
Exactly. It is just the worst. And I think that goes for any city. Like, I think New York is similarly really humid, and Japan,
and all
I think
the
in
animals, all
really
the rats
humid.
and the mice come out.
Yeah. It's just, like, that's what I don't like. I don't mind summer if you're somewhere where it's not humid. It's the humidity that is the worst.
Yeah. That is true, which is why we should get an air conditioning unit, but you keep putting it off. You're saying that it's an extravagance and a luxury that we don't need.
Keep putting it off.
Well, I said it.
You literally mentioned it today,
I
and I said that feels a bit extreme.
Extreme to get air conditioning.
Yeah, but
that's what most people have as standard.
This is always the excuse for people in Britain. But the weather is so changeable. It's not as if, it's guaranteed to be 30 degrees for 6 months of the year. It's like a guarantee if we buy one, next year, it will rain the entire summer and be like 18, and we'll be like, oh, we didn't need it.
But I quite like a bit of aircon. Even when it's a bit humid and stuff, you put it on and it kind of freshens it up a little bit.
Now, an air dehumidifier, I'm interested in.
Or sometimes they do both.
Okay, then I can be talked into it. I'd like to be dehumidified.
I bet you would.
Is
that what you call it?
I want all the moisture sucked out.
Wow, by a Yorkshireman.
No, that's too far.
But that's no, we need to get one, and I'm just gonna I'll just have to buy it myself, and we'll.
Yeah, but this is what
But we'll
happens,
get it in
Ben.
Black Friday.
I'll just, you know, say no, keep it going, keep it stringing along, and eventually you'll get annoyed and just buy it anyway.
So yeah, someone else.
I
Did
know
that.
how to manipulate
Someone
you.
else used to do that a lot, and I used to buy a lot of things.
You're very
myself.
easily swayed.
I'd be like, oh, I really want this. Oh, I don't. Oh, I guess I'll buy it myself then. But the other person generally does want it as well. But they're like, if I pretend I don't, then Ben will buy it. How financially
I
manipulative.
mean, I just don't want a dehumidifier or a puppy.
Oh, but yeah, if we get a puppy, we have to have aircon because puppies, you don't leave puppies in hot rooms or cars.
Oh no.
So yeah, just think of it as an investment for our future puppy.
Okay.
There you go. Right. But let's get in Black Friday when
In November.
in November when you don't need it and the prices are probably half the price they are now.
That is very
Because
true.
literally, I guarantee that Amazon will have put up an extra £100 on every air conditioning unit this week.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure.
do it. We'll be practical. We'll be sensible adults. We are like in our early 30s,
Early.
post 20s. We're in our post 20s.
I'm definitely in my late 30s now.
Well, I'm not at the end, so it's early. It's early or end of. Early or late. Mid doesn't exist.
Great.
Yeah, it's your birthday very soon.
It is.
What are you wanting to do for your birthday?
Absolutely fuck all.
Oh, proper old person.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm getting old. No, I have no plans. The problem is August for me is a very busy month. I mean, it's busy for both of us. But we're both going to see Taylor Swift in a couple of weeks' time. And
Yes, we are.
I have a work trip the following week abroad.
Where to?
Which I can't say.
Mumbai?
No.
Brisbane?
No. I'm not going to tell you where it is or what it's
Taipei?
for because I'm under
Taipei a
NDA.
place? Or is that like no.
Taipei?
Isn't that...
It's a place, yeah. Can't remember where.
Is it Taiwan, but there's a Chinese name for it or something like that?
Now we're going to look awful
Yeah.
if you do not look that up immediately.
I will do. No, it's because Taiwan doesn't exist in the Olympics and they have to call themselves Chinese Taipei. That's why it was in my head. Oh, it is the Taipei city. It's the capital of Taiwan.
There you go.
And they call themselves Chinese Taipei in the Olympics. Otherwise, China will kick off. And apparently the IOC don't like upsetting Chinese people
I mean, understandable.
or the Chinese government. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm on a trip, and then the following week is Gamescom, where we're both away. So work generally, for me anyway, is picking up a lot because Gamescom is obviously full of announcements and loads of things happening. I've got previews lined up. So things are getting pretty busy in the run-up to that. And my birthday is slap bang in the middle of that trip and Gamescom.
Leave it with me. I will
I'm
sort
going to
out,
be knackered that weekend and we'll have washing and packing to do, which is thrilling.
What's your opinion on a striptease?
Depends who it's from.
Yeah, fair. What about a dinner and a show
Always greatly appreciated.
with Hindus?
No. Too far.
Not a fan of Hindus at a
No.
like that Priscilla thing?
No.
I looked at that a while ago, but I've decided not to.
I'm not a fan of a Hindu.
You've never seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, though, have you?
I think I might have seen bits of the film, but I don't think I've
Oh yeah,
properly watched it.
we need to watch it.
Yeah.
It's got one of the best openings. It's the drag queen singing. I won't get here if you can. That's Celine Dion's song. I'm pretty sure she sang it.
Sorry, what?
Get here if you can.
I don't care how you get here.
That one.
Just get here if you can.
Yeah.
That's not Celine Dion.
No.
That is
Taylor Swift.
No, it's going to really irritate me if I don't look it up.
Rihanna. Some
It's definitely not Rihanna.
Barbara Dixon. Cheryl Baker.
I don't care if you
Cher. It's Cher.
get here.
Beatles. Definitely the Beatles.
Aletta Adams, apparently.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that.
Let me just check that is definitely the right song.
Have you seen the Phoenix Nights one? Yeah, that one. Is she Australian? Let's maybe not those are.
Oh, you can get me by airplane.
Have you seen the Phoenix Nights one of that?
What song?
Have you seen the Phoenix Nights one?
I dread to think.
It's amazing. I'm going to play you it because because it's audio. Phoenix Nights, get here if you can. This.
Aletta Adams is American.
Oh. Well, never mind.
She found limited success during the early 1980s. Before gaining fame via her contributions to Tears for Fears' international chart-topping album, The Seeds of Love.
Oh. I think it's this one. Oh, where is it? I think it's the fashion, the talent show, because obviously they've got a great talent. Oh, is it this one?
I've lost track of what you're talking about. What?
Yeah, get here. I want to find it. I'm gonna go and pause a sec. Right, I found it. It's great. It's worth it. It's worth the hour and a half.
It?
Oh, I've just brought up Sky News.
Oh,
Press.
no.
Here we go. This one.
It's Michelle. Coffee. Come on.
So
Let's go, Michelle.
here we go, Michelle. Hope it's this one. Yeah.
You can reach me by railway. You can reach me by trailway. You can reach me on an airplane. You can reach me with a line. You can reach me by caravan. It's the desert like
Oh, that's what. Then the next bit isn't quite PC. So I think it's like cross the desert like an Arab man, and I'm not playing that sound effect.
No, I wouldn't do that.
But yeah, that's I freaking love. We need to watch Phoenix Nights.
Do we?
Oh, we really do. That will be. I might make you watch them tonight. Because you've not really watched it, have you?
No, there's a reason for that.
Because it's really, really good. It is so funny. Genuinely, you will. Oh, I just laugh thinking about it. The fact that you've not seen it makes me so excited to introduce you to Phoenix Nights. It's brilliant. Just thinking of all the jokes now.
You can have one episode, and if it's not
day.
funny, I'm never watching it again.
Charlie FM, coming in your ears. That'll be Swapping Joysticks' new slogan. Coming in your ears.
It absolutely will not. No.
Ben and Ed, coming in your ears.
No one wants that.
If you do, leave a comment on the YouTube video. We don't get any comments. Please do. Well, we do get some. Thank you very much to everyone who does leave a comment. But yeah, if you leave a comment.
Sure.
Anyway, where were we?
I don't know.
I had a coffee now. I told you
We've gone on a tangent.
I told you my energy levels would go up with coffee.
It works quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been in a good mood today.
Oh, makes a change.
Says you. Okay, now. Oh,
You've gone very northern today, haven't you?
it's got Yorkshire Day.
Of course.
Not tomorrow, obviously.
Well,
yesterday.
speaking of which, we need to play.
Thank goodness you're here.
Yeah. Which came out this week.
Yes, it came out on Yorkshire Day, which when this comes up will be yesterday. If it isn't clear, we recorded this on Wednesday because we're going out on Thursday. So this will come up on Friday morning, which is the day after Yorkshire Day. But can I say, I've been seeing people like try and make Yorkshire slang like comments and like they put a T before things. And I'm like, that is not how Yorkshire people speak. Yorkshire people don't pronounce the T's.
We don't put T
No,
in front of
a lot of fake Yorkshiremen and fake Northerners, or people trying to impersonate them, they put a T instead of the. And we don't do that. We don't pronounce the as t. We pronounce to as t. Like moff to gym. Moff to gym means I am going to the gym.
Thank you for translating. Yeah.
I am off to the gym. We don't say moff to gym. No, it's like where he's going down pub. He's going down
pub.
Moff down pub. Like I'm going down to the pub. We don't even pronounce the two in that one. But we don't say, oh yeah, I think it was Peter Kay who did the you're on the old Tinternet. And it's like nobody says Tinternet unless they're mocking, like they're imitating Peter Kay. Like I'm off on internet.
On internet.
Don't
With,
you
like,
act like I've got a
noties.
speech impediment. It's a cultural accent. I'm off on internet. My mum would never allow me to speak like that, but like, yeah, I'm off on computer.
To watch porn.
Yeah, to watch. Yeah,
Porn.
no, not to porn. Remember, t is only for two. Moff to pub, moff to gym. There you go. So that is a lesson in Yorkshireisms. Don't ever use t for the because nobody does.
There we go. Anyway, if you're not familiar,
Sorry.
thank goodness you're here.
Goodness, urea.
is
Urea.
urea,
Like urea.
not your rear.
No, urea.
Thank goodness, your rear. It's a
Likewise.
new game. It's a comedy game about being in Yorkshire,
So I've got good
which
history
we need
like,
to play.
with that
And
game.
are we gonna play it together?
We are going to stream it live on Saturday
Oh, are we?
with alcohol.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
And we're going to get some tinnies in.
Tinnies.
We might have some nice Tetleys. Nice can
No.
of Tetleys.
No.
John Smith. Is that Yorkshire? Sounds it.
Oh, see, you say Tetley, and I think tea, and I was like, why are we not having Yorkshire tea?
Yeah, well, we can have that as well.
I
We
would
can-
like a cup of Yorkshire tea, please.
We can start with that, and we'll have some.
I'll have a brew.
Oh, yeah, get a brew on.
Yeah.
We'll have a nice steak and ale
brew.
pie. Steak and ale pie for dinner.
Pie.
No, we're not going to pie, are we? That doesn't make
I
sense.
know. I'm taking the piss.
How dare you?
I'll
Fucking
go.
Southerner. Oh,
I'll
fucking
go
hell.
to kitchen for a brew.
You and your bloody Cockney accent and your Southerner. I mean, what's the...
Now then.
No, that's very different. No, that's not Cockney. Cockney is like, all right, mate, fucking hell. And they have the Cockney elbow. You ever seen the Cockney elbow? Oh, fucking hell. And every now and again it goes out. Oh, fucking hell, mate. That's the Cockney elbow.
Like Churchill.
Like Rodney. But yeah, anyway, that's, that's mocking each other's accents.
I do not have a Cockney accent. Thank you very much. I don't have an accent at all.
I don't have an accent at all.
I'm not posh.
That's a sound clip I need to record. I'm not posh. Yeah, you
I
are.
don't sound like that.
You are posh, though, aren't you?
No,
I'm
very average.
No, we're not talking about that.
Ben.
You are quite posh, though. You are posh, except for sometimes you buy cheap food. You'll only shop in M&S, but you'll get like the bargains. You get the ones with the yellow labels on. You won't ever buy expensive fish or expensive meat.
Well,
I'm exposing you here.
thanks. Even the it's not like bargain basic level, but even in like M&S, the lower end is better quality than other places.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and food is one of the things that I like to invest in because I think
It's
it's
not too
important
much.
to be healthy. But I'm not going to go out and buy like super expensive tuna steaks or something like
Why not?
on a random day.
And McDonald's
like-
is more expensive than some like fancy tuna steaks. We need to
That's
get
not a midweek meal.
we-
That's like a special occasion. I'll treat us to something nice.
cost of living that.
Yeah.
We need to get once they
Thanks,
fix the lift.
government.
Once they fix the lift, we need to start getting a cardo.
Sure, in about 3 years.
Yeah, we
At this rate.
currently live on the 6th floor of a
Well,
flat.
they don't need to hear that.
Yeah,
People
no, I
have
do
heard
need
this
to
story
moan.
before.
6th floor, and it's been over 2 years since we've had a working lift, and we're on the 6th floor, and we have a cleaner who's in his 60s and climbs up those stairs every other week. And you offered to bring him up in the service lift or the next.
You don't need to tell everyone this.
No, but just torturing people. I just need to moan.
Well, moan when we're not recording.
Fine.
Um,
This isn't insight into our personal life.
they don't want that.
Oh yeah, because otherwise, if we only talk like about games, then we turn into PlayStation Access, and we want to have some personality.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Don't record that and send that to them. Also, I did not say that.
You did not say that.
I've
And I do like PlayStation.
met people from PlayStation Access who are
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, I know. I do. I like them as well. I was thinking kind of funny, but I think they do have quite a lot of like it's their own thing. Personality. People tune in for the games, whereas nobody tunes into us to hear the games. They just want to hear you
Oh,
be smutty.
Well,
and
I won't bother bringing up the news later then.
just be smutty, and that's what you need.
I'll just drop some C-bombs every now and again.
No, because your mum listens, or is your dad?
Oh, I don't think so.
I
I also don't care if they hear that.
Okay, I know. I've been present. Anyway, what? Yeah, so we haven't got anything else to talk about before we go into the games.
Well, let's talk about games. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, tune in on Saturday to
Oh, no,
Ben's stream.
That was it.
for
Thank goodness you're here. No, I was going to bring up the Thank Goodness You're Here. I saw it. It was last opening night live that they announced it, and I was like, "This is
Yes.
my thing. I need to play this." And a few weeks before, I'd said, I was like, I'd agreed to go to this PR company to go and see a mysterious game that they wouldn't tell me what it is. lo and behold, it turns out to be, thank goodness you're here, that I speak to the two people who created it in like a tiny little room. It's just me and those two
At last year's Gamescom.
at last year's Gamescom, where I get to play a demo of the game while they're talking about it, and I was like, this is fucking wild, amazing. I did say they should come on the podcast, and I never got around to messaging us.
We'll make that happen.
Oh, they're massive celebrities now. We do. We should do.
Well, we're going to rave about it. We're going to play the game, and then we should get them on.
I feel like it was last year's Gamescom the reason why we managed to get Baldur's Gate, Deborah Wild and Jennifer English on.
It was
Through-
around the time, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mm.
So anyway, that's what we're going to be playing.
Yes.
But shall we talk about what we have already been playing?
Okay, yeah, and I'm going to allow you this week to talk about Final Fantasy XIV.
I don't really have much to say about it.
See, I've got loads to talk about.
Okay, well, you want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's
off you
fine.
go.
Mm.
Go on. Knock it back.
Oh,
Get it out.
right. Yeah, it's all right.
The coffee I was talking about then,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
Dawntrail's all right. So we're going to be talking about, we'll have mild, there won't be spoilers really, but we're going to be kind of talking, I'll talk about it generally as a storyline. I won't talk about specific things necessarily in the story, but if you are wanting to go in completely blind to it, then check the show notes in the description in the YouTube, and you can skip to the next part where we'll talk about whatever Ed's been playing. But
Well, I guess on that as well, you're further than me in Dawntrail.
So yeah, if we're going to be talking about it, we're not going to be talking about anything past like halfway through the DLC. So there are
DLC.
the DLC, the expansion
Okay.
of Dawntrail. There are, just like in the previous ones, there are 6 areas, and I'm pretty much I'm about to complete the 3rd area. So very much halfway through.
Okay.
Although I think I've got a dungeon.
Also,
coming up.
you think.
Well, yeah, it's been like that. And also, like, I'm on level 95 quests.
Okay,
So
I'm on 92, I believe.
Slacker.
So I'm a little further behind you.
I'm only doing it because I know you're going to try and catch up, and I want to finish. I don't want ever...
Oh, you want to beat me?
I never want you to be ahead of me
Wow.
in 14.
Well, that's fucking rude.
Because then I can help you and give you advice.
I don't want your help.
Anyway,
I've learned how to play it now, and I play with duty support. Don't you do that? I play with duty support, so I don't have to speak to people or
I
deal
do as
with
well.
other people.
no, that's the best way. So, for those of you who don't know Final Fantasy XIV, it's a massively multiplayer online RPG by Square Enix in the incredible Final Fantasy series with a free trial, including the first 2 expansions with hundreds of hours of content. First 3 expansions.
Yeah.
Shadowbringers.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, they extended it.
Well, that's generous because Shadowbringers is one of the best PC games I've played in years. It's brilliant. And Dawntrail's not going to be getting any... it's not going to be better than that. I mean, so far I would say it is definitely... It's nowhere near... To me, Shadowbringers is still the best. Second, I would say, is probably Endwalker. Third, Heaven's Ward. 4th, Dawntrail, and 5th, Stormblood. That's my expansion ranking at the moment. And the reason why I put it below Heaven's Ward is I think that the story for Heaven's Ward, even though it is a little bit repetitive and it's quite samey, and I've got to say, when they upgrade the graphics in the Heaven's Ward areas, it's going to be stunning, and I can't wait to see what they do. But the story's just very, very simple, whereas in Heaven's Ward, it's not. Heaven's Ward is quite an adult story.
Dawntrail is simple.
Yeah, what did I say? Heaven's Ward.
I don't know. You
No.
just didn't say a name.
Sorry, yeah, the current
I'm just clarifying.
Dawntrail's story so far, and like maybe, and I'll talk in a minute about it, but so far, the first half of the Dawntrail story, it's slow, which I understand, and that's a bit of a pain, but it is a brand new story arc. Like, there's no Ascians, there are no Garlean Empire, like, it's completely new arc, but they haven't replaced that so far. They haven't replaced the Ascians. When you got like Kingdom Hearts and there's the weird thing going on, overarching
Is it
story.
13?
The 13 or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
don't
feel
remember.
like 14 so far had like the Ascians as their little overarching storyline that was kind of going over everything. Whereas this just so far in the first half of it just doesn't have anything other than this is the quest you have to do, and I'm finding it a little bit
Shallow.
very shallow and very just babyish. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
and it's similar, and it's one of the reasons. And whereas Heaven's Ward, I don't know, it just felt quite adult, and it was quite serious, and there was death, and it was very, I don't know, everyone was like an adult, and it was all about kind of politics and hierarchy
I
and
say, I
houses.
don't remember 90% of either Heaven's Word or Stormblood.
Well, Stormblood's
because
last
I raced through them.
Stormblood's last because I was so bored I kept skipping all the cutscenes, so I did want to get through it at some point again and actually remember. Although I did really like the Hien part because he was really hot.
True.
So wasn't that interesting. Sorry about the voice actor. But there's the Heaven's Ward was like quite an adult story, and I think you followed it, and it was really interesting and intricate. Whereas this is just so far, and I want to premise this by saying that this is just the first half because I've heard that the second half of it is much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I might come back and completely change my opinion by the end of
Yeah,
it.
come back in like a month.
Yeah,
When we've both finished it.
I might.
When we've both finished it.
I mean, I'm
'Cause
hoping
I'm further behind.
I'm hopefully going to finish it in the next week. That's my goal.
Okay.
Because it's my only game. Because I've got Final Fantasy IX that I want to play, and I'm putting it off until I finish Dawntrail.
But then you won't get the references.
Well, then I can go back and enjoy watching you get the references.
Okay,
Or
fine.
I
I'll
can go back
explain
and
it
then
to you.
replay it or something. I don't know. But I'm really finding it a little bit shallow because it's a bit like the DLC. And if you've played the DLC for Endwalker, so like the very, very, very end of the last arc of the main
Do you
storyline
mean
arc.
the post expansion patches?
Yes. So the post Endwalker expansion patches is very, very obvious what you're doing. And I quite like the story, but I like the story of that because it was quite simple. Because it was like, oh, there are these 4 baddies and then 1 big baddie. So obviously you're going to have to take down those normal baddies one by one, and then you'll get access to taking down the big baddie. Lo and behold, that's what you do.
And you've got Zero, who is a very cool character.
Yes, unlike Dawntrail. But yeah, you've got... So I quite liked that in the post patches because it was quite obvious what you were going to do, but it was after the real complexities of Endwalker, going into something a little bit like that was fun, and I enjoyed it. And then we've got like the same thing happening in Dawntrail. So in Dawntrail, it's like, here are go and look at these 6 big pillars. Or was it 8? I don't know, but it went on forever, that quest, where you had to go and just look at them.
So, well,
then at the end of it, you get given some slabs, and you have to put some things in these slabs. And you get one of the things that you put in these 6 slabs in a different area. So in other words, it's like, hey, you're going to have to collect 6 of these. In fact, you're going to bring up what everyone's comparing it to.
Well, to explain that in slightly more detail, you, at the end of those and post Endwalker patches, you meet a new character called Wooklamat, who is a female Hrothgar, who are the cat people, or one species of cat people, as opposed to the Makote. And she basically says, will you come to my land and help me to become the Dawn Servant, which is essentially the ruler of Tural, which is this new land. And in order to do that, you have to complete this quest, which is following in the footsteps of the previous leader by...
You want to give the full story? That's fine, yeah.
Well, no, I'm just
I was
saying...
trying to be a little bit more vague.
Well,
but
that's as far as I'll go with that.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to complete, I think it's 8. You have to... I'm pretty sure it's 8. Or maybe it's 6 and there's a blank one.
No, there are 6 you need, or maybe it's 7 actually.
I think it might be 7. I'm sure there was because
Yeah.
I remember there's a quest where
then
you
there's
have
one
to
that's
look
blank.
at the pillars, and I'm sure there's 8 in total, but 1 is blank.
Yes,
So there's like 7.
I think it's 7. So,
Which essentially take you to 7 different areas around the world, and in
you
each
do a
one
task
you
for
have to
them.
do a task to get a little keystone to prove that you've done it, to prove that you're worthy. Which basically, after the high drama of Endwalker, of saving the world from depression and apocalypse,
going to the other side of the universe,
literally across the universe through space and time, you're now
you're
helping a cat lady on a Pokemon quest.
Yeah, you are. This is literally Pokemon, where you're going and getting the different gym badges.
Yeah,
but it's just, and yeah, you end up like going along, and then like, okay, after about 5 or 6 hours, you've got your second one, and I'm like, so I've got to do this 5 more times, and it does help that the places are gorgeous. Like, you go to really, really stunning areas. They're quite diverse. They're very, very kind of countryside oriented. There's no industrial area. However, I've seen the raid, and the raid looks I'm
Oh, there's
interested.
more
I
to
am
come there.
so intrigued to see how we go from where I am at the moment, which I've just entered one with a canopy kind of jungle area. How are we going from all of these beauty, mountainside, country, jungle to what looks like a cyberpunk city? So I have no idea how we go there, and I've not really looked in at it other than the art when they announced it at FanFest. But I'm really wanting to play more because all I'm saying is I've got all the keystones now, and I'm like, okay, I've got all the gym badges, but I'm only halfway through the story. So now I'm really interested in it because I have no idea where it's going to go. Whereas before, first half of this expansion, I've just been like, well, I know I'm going to have to go there, I know I'm going to have to go there, and then I'm going to go there, and we're just going to go from area to area to collect these keystones. And the story plods along as you do that, but there's nothing super.
There's a clear
big.
structure, but it's very formulaic.
Yes, whereas now I'm like, oh, maybe there'll still be a structure because you tend to just go to a certain area, hub area in a map, and then go and explore for a little bit for maybe like 2 hours, and then you move on to the next one. So that'll continue, I'm sure, but now I've no idea where the story is going to go.
So I also don't know where the story's going to go, but based on...
Don't spoil or hint.
Well, no, I'm just saying I think I can probably predict an element
Oh, don't.
of what it's going to...
Because
I won't say anything.
I like going into games completely thick. Not just blind, but thick. Like, I don't want...
That's normal for you.
Yeah, how dare. But, like, you will watch a comedy show and be like, oh, he's going to say this. Oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be the answer. This is going to be what's happened. And I'm like, if you don't think about what's going to... We don't need to analyze it and predict what's going to happen. You just enjoy it. And then as it happens...
Yeah, but I like to be surprised. And if it's something really obvious, then it's like okay, I know what you're saying.
Never obvious.
I know what you're saying.
Frasier.
We're watching Frasier. And when it's just like, it's so painfully obvious what is about to happen to the point where I'm cringing and not finding it funny, then I don't want to watch it anymore.
Just turn your brain off for a bit.
No, I can't do that. My brain is constantly on overdrive. You should know this by now.
Yeah.
But
anyway, back to Dawntrail.
Yeah. So I'm way behind you. I've got 2 keystones. So I'm still playing catch up. It has been very slow.
The opening is very, very, very slow, but I feel like it gets a little bit faster.
Hopefully,
after the
I think
2 or 3.
to your point about it being shallow, that for me is the annoying part. In that there is no drama to this. All it is literally a cat lady trying to be the leader. That's literally it, and we're just helping her on a quest. And I know it's going to go places, and that's fine. But for me, like the best Final Fantasy games are the ones with the best openings.
Yeah.
And if you think of like the opening of 7, where like Cloud's coming on the train, and we've got the bombing mission, and it's like that's your introduction to this new world. It's like high drama. Or
Shadowbringers had an amazing opening. Like to me, like you go and get transported to a whole new world. You wake up, you turn around, and it's just purple trees in the distance. There's something like you have absolutely no idea where you are, who anybody is. It's a completely new area, and it's, I don't know, to me, then you wander over to this giant glass structure. People are like, who are you? What are you doing here? And
it's exciting.
That was exciting. It felt like a brand new game and a completely new world to explore, and which this is as well, I know, but you're still with a lot of people, and there are, I don't know, the opening for Shadowbringers, I'm trying to think of what they are for the other expansions as well, but the Shadowbringers one just is, to me, is the perfect opening of an expansion in a video game.
Or like 9, I know you've played the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
So you know it's like a kidnapping.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And the sword fighting.
10 has an amazing opening with the dum dum, dum dum, guitar playing, and then like Tidus gets like Tidus. Why did I just say Tidus?
Ooh, because you've been indoctrinated by
Maybe
people
I have.
who
wow,
say,
I think I got confused all of a sudden.
Yeah, people
Tidus.
do say Tidus.
Yeah,
it's Tidus.
Tidus got like you know gets transported to another world, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like you need that shock drama at the beginning of a big story, to kind of get you excited about it. And this is literally like, oh, we're in a new world, and then you just sort of go off, and there's no high drama. It's like, oh, there's a 2-headed lizard. All right, cool. Like it's just
the lizards and stuff. Like I always get confused because they've all got really similar names, and they all look quite similar.
Yeah. So I think for me, there's just not been enough drama. And also there's not enough drama in the gameplay. I mean, I've just done the first duty, and I'm a good 6-7 hours in, maybe.
And it's like 2 or 3 hours until you do any battling, and it's literally go to this place and kill one enemy and come back.
Yeah, like to get the keystones, it's just do a fetch quest.
And The keystones are quite interesting because I feel like there's a lot of variety in them. Like later on, you get it for doing some very different stuff. I'm
Okay,
not,
good.
I do enjoy, although it's super simple. Like the duties and the trials, I've only done one trial, which is like a big major boss, and I've done 2 duties, I think, or
Right.
3.
Which are the dungeons, basically.
Yeah, the dungeons. I think I might be about to do the 3rd one because I don't think I've actually done 3 yet. But I've been doing them on duty support, so that means you get joined by 3 NPC characters who are actually characters in the game. So they give you some dialogue that obviously you don't get that kind of dialogue if you're doing it with 3 people that are just speeding through it. And it also forces you to learn the mechanics, which I really like, even though it does take you a while. And also all the loot you get is yours. So I do really enjoy doing that, and I think I really like the bosses. I really like the duties. I think the duties that are incredible, and also it looks stunning. One thing that's sorry, you were gonna say?
I was going to say that the first duty is the one that I played at the preview that I did. So I did that a couple of days
And that
ago,
last boss
and I
is
was
an
like,
arsehole.
"It is an asshole," and I still died on it, even though I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
um,
Did you say you've just done the first one? You haven't done the second one yet.
no, I haven't done the
The
second,
second one
yet.
is much simpler. I only died once, and it was to the first boss actually.
Okay, but even that first one, like, there's a lot more variety in it, and that came across to me in the preview, and even doing it now, I'm like, you can tell that the duties are a step up, and
Yeah.
that's great, because I think that for me, the duties are the exciting part of it, even though I tend to play, as we said, duty support rather than online with people. The duties are the exciting bit
dungeon,
where it's a
yeah.
dungeon, you're exploring and you're doing battling, and there are sometimes puzzles and things like that. That for me is the exciting part of 14, and that seems to have really stepped up. But the
But it still follows
storytelling
the
around
same-
that is just a bit dull. And as we've both said, and as all the reviews have said as well, like, this is very much an expansion of 2 halves, and I'm very aware that it's going to change
Yeah.
and it's going to go places because everybody keeps telling me that. And because of that, generally I don't mind if I know it's going somewhere that it's a little boring at the moment.
Yeah.
But also, for me, that has been the entire experience of 14 over the last 3-4
It
years
gets
of me playing it.
better.
Is everybody saying, "Don't worry, it gets better halfway through," or "Once you get to Shadowbringers, it gets good." So now it's just that in microcosm of like, "Oh, once you get halfway through Dawntrail, it's good."
Why can't it be good from the start?
Yeah, just make it good from the start. Why can't they do that?
Mm.
So because of that, I feel so worn down by this game that I'm like, do you know what? It's fine that I'm bored at the beginning because it'll probably get good at some point, and that's fine. So I sort of don't mind, even though it's slow. I'm like, fine, I'll just push through. I'm so used to having to do that with this game and so worn down by it. I'll just stick with it for the sakes of it. And I think what's also helping me is that because this is the first time that I'm at least vaguely in line with everybody else playing it and semi up to date, and because I've been following the news of it through FanFest and everything else, it's built up excitement for me. So I think had I not known any of that and gone straight into it, I'd be like, this is awful. But because I'm excited about everything else around it that we've already sort of seen through FanFest, I'm much more excited about it as an expansion. So I don't mind that it's slower because I'm mentally prepared to push through.
And there are some amazing moments in it so far already. Like there's an area that you get to in the third world where it kind of they know it's really pretty. They know it's stunning. They know you're going to be like, have you seen the areas?
I probably have seen it, like screenshots of it somewhere, but I can't remember exactly what
There's a
it is.
rainforest that's kind of covered, and it's very, very kind of like Avatar-esque.
Okay.
But they make you go into like a cave and spiral down in this cave, and then you come out in the rainforest. So they know how beautiful it is, and they're like, we're going to give you a moment.
We're going to edge you.
We're going to give you a moment so that when you come out of there, you go, and I did. Like, genuinely, I was like, wow, this is gorgeous.
Not to be a Souls nerd, but that's exactly what the Elden Ring DLC does. With like every area it's that, and I love it when games do that. It's that sort of Breath of the Wild moment of we're going to hold you somewhere close, and then we're going to expand out with this huge vista and make it look.
They do that in Elden Ring in all the areas, really, don't they?
The DLC specifically, though, is very particular about that.
Yeah, no, I'd found like when you enter Limgrave, it comes out of there, and also when you go out of the castle, what's it called? The main castle.
The capital.
No, not the capital.
Stormvale.
Stormvale. When you come out of Stormvale and you see over all the Urnia.
Yeah.
And then, obviously the capital as well. Yeah, they do that really well. But what do you think of Wuklamat? as a character? Because I find her
I'm not keen.
incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
It's just so saccharine and like there was a phrase. It's not gonna be an exact phrase because I can't remember it, but in the last mission where it was like, "Oh, we're gonna win because together, when we work together, we can achieve anything." And I was like, "Oh my!" It's like
It's very happy-go-lucky, very overly positive, and
you can't relate.
as I said earlier, well, no, I definitely can't relate to that. But as I said earlier, like the post Endwalker post patch had Zero, who was this like really dark, moody character, and I think if I look back across all Final Fantasy games, I like the dark, moody emo characters. I love Cloud, I love Squall. Like they're the
And
characters
Vivi?
that I'm.
Is Vivi emo or just a kid? I haven't got to.
I'm not
I've
going to
played
spoil
much of
anything
9.
with Vivi.
Okay.
But they're the characters that I like. I mean, 9 is a bit more cartoony than other ones, but I like when Final Fantasy is a bit dark and emo, and this just feels very bright, colourful, and with this very happy-go-lucky main character. And I think what is a bit frustrating, and I think I've seen a lot of this online, is that it's not really your story anymore. It's Wooklamat's story, and you're kind of just following somebody else. Like I think, just to shout out the Eurogamer review from Emma Withington, who basically said you are Gandalf, which I think is very true. Like you are the sort of senior person with all this experience who's just helping somebody else on their journey.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel very personal because you're helping Wooklamat, and when she's just so saccharine and annoyingly positive, I'm like, I need some drama and some darkness in this.
Oh yeah,
it's
even
too bright.
Annoyingly positive or really like just down, like, oh, I didn't do this, therefore I'm a failure and everything's gone wrong and I'm terrible.
It's very cartoonish
Yeah.
writing and sort of stylistically very cartoonish.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm excited about the second half, because I am hoping for her downfall. Not in a like mean way, but I'm like, give me some darkness here to contrast what's happened.
It is very much her story, and it's not a spoiler, but there is like one. I mean, we've had it before, but there's like one instance where you play as her, or like you do a battle controlling her, and I'm like, why?
Oh.
Why? Can't I just play as myself?
Okay.
But you're right, and I hope that afterwards, like now I've got all the keystones, and I won't say a spoiler, but like I feel like this next dungeon I'm gonna do should theoretically be the last dungeon, but it's like, why is this in the middle of it? What's going to happen after? That's what I really want to see where it goes.
There's going to be a twist.
There's going to be a twist, and at the end of it, I might be like, holy shit, that was incredible. I love where it went. But and maybe you need the first half to be kind of really boring, not boring, but very kind of paint by numbers, saccharine, very like blah, 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 to kind of emphasize the second half where it goes somewhere really weird.
That's the thing. I think I'm just hopeful. And this, again, as I said, I'm pushing through it because everyone says it gets good. So I'm sure it will. And I trust people, the general consensus. And I'm just hopeful that there is a reason why it is like how it is at the start. And as long as there is a reason and that comes through, and by the end of it, I'm like, oh, I see why they did that, then I don't mind.
Yeah.
So early days, I'm like, I'm a bit bored. It's a bit childish. It's a bit shallow. This isn't as good as what I think it could be. But I'm just hopeful that by the end of it, I will understand the reasoning behind that. I think the other thing that's helping me a little bit, and maybe less so with you, is that I've changed jobs and you haven't. So you're still playing as a samurai, which for me, I'm like, unless the job has considerably changed, it feels maybe a bit samey. But I like that I've switched to Pictomancer, so it's adding something a bit different to it as well, which I enjoy, and I really like Pictomancer as a job.
And
I think it's a bit OP. Which I'm not.
No. What they've done instead of
they've buffed everyone else.
Yeah, they've buffed everyone else to match Pictomancer. They've actually, it's weird, like because as samurai, they've debuffed everything pretty much except for there are a couple of moments you can trigger a thing and then you do your skill set, and at the end of it you can redo your final big attack of your what they're called, the combos. So at the end of your combo you do a massive attack, and if you've got one of these things activated you can do it a second time, and then you could only do that pretty much twice every 2 minutes or something.
Mhm.
Whereas now they've lowered how much attack damage you do, but they've made it so every single time you do that last attack, you can do it again. And that, I think, overall is a buff. So that's been quite fun, being able to just do these 2 massive attacks at the end. Because you see it going down and going down when you're doing a boss. And then you do those 2 at the end, and you just see chunk go, and it does feel really good. But yeah, I tried a little bit of Reaper, and I think they're going to change a lot of Reaper, someone was
You mean
saying.
Viper.
Viper. I think they're going to change a lot of Viper because people are not
This
very
this week
happy.
is the patch.
Oh, was
that's
that the
gone
Viper
out.
patch as
Yeah.
well?
And they had previously said that they were going to be making some changes to Viper. And what they said they were going to do was they were going to change the positionals. So essentially, a lot of Viper's attacks were if you're behind an enemy, it does more damage, or if you're at the side of an enemy, it does more damage. So you have to think about where you're positioned. What they've now changed is they've got rid of an attack that was like a poison attack and split it into a different one. But then almost every single ability from Viper has been buffed or debuffed and altered in some way.
Yeah.
So they've done a lot of balance changes across loads of jobs. But when you look at Viper, it's like extensively they've changed it, which for me is a little bit worrying that it's almost like, did they get it that wrong in the first place, that they've needed to change it? But also, I feel like what they've done is listen to the community, and some people in the community were saying Viper's too difficult or whatever. So they've decided to make it easier. But now everyone's saying, well, those people were wrong. Now you've overly simplified it. What are you doing?
Don't listen
And
to
it
the
just
community.
sounds a bit like, and I worry sometimes with 14 and Yoshi P, is that do they listen to the community too much? And are they a little bit too detailed with the changes? Where I'm like, just have confidence in what you've done. If you're happy with this job, just put it out there and be like, this is the job. Fucking learn it if you want to play as it.
Well, maybe. They'll have internal people playing it as
I'm
well.
sure,
They'll
I'm
have
sure.
opinions. But yeah, no, I tried a bit of Pictomancer. And I didn't
Pictomancer has
quite
no
get it.
changes, FYI.
Yeah, they're like, no, it's fine.
Because it's great. Like, everyone else is like spamming their spells and going up close. And I'm just stood at the back, wafting my paintbrush, painting some silly little pictures, and it does fuck tons of damage, and I'm having a great time. The only thing I don't like is I'm wearing caster armor, and the original Pictomancer armor that you get is like a gay little purple hat, and you're like,
Glamour plates.
well, I know I haven't bothered with glamours because it just confuses me.
I see. I've got the Final Fantasy 15 glamour, and I pretty much always wear it. And I look like an emo, pretty much.
I've noticed that, and I do also quite like that.
It is
look.
a really good look.
Um,
I need one thing I'll do when I get to the end game is like I need to get my glamour on point.
Well, this is the thing. I'm gonna focus on just getting through the DLC and getting all the armors and the high quality stuff and whatever. But then I need to decide, right, what armor do I actually like?
Yeah, well now
And then go back and glamour.
because you do the main story, and then all of a sudden you'll notice that you're getting a lot of armor of a specific type.
Mhm.
Like there'll be 4 missions or 5, 4 missions in a row that'll give you head, chest, legs, and arms. Oh, and boots are 5 armor.
Yeah.
And they're all of the same set. So this time I didn't glamour, and I was like, I'll just wear whatever the armor they gave me, and now I've got this nice set where I've got my belly out. It's quite a hot look and but very different. So it's great. That's 14. I'll never stop playing it. Like I will play it until they stop making expansions.
That's the other thing is
You've invested so much.
I've invested so much time and so much money into it over the last few years.
Oh yeah.
That I feel like I want to get up to date and I want to make it worth it. And for me, that has just been get through the MSQ, so the main story. And that is literally all I have done. But then changing to Pictomancer, essentially when you change to a new job, you start 10 levels lower than what the main quest is. So you have to level up, which forces you to learn the job before you do the main story, which makes sense. But by doing that, it forced me to think, right, what other content is there? And I started looking at hunts and I started doing other quests and bits of side quests. And then it opens up and you realize there is so much to this game that I just haven't touched. So that's why even once I get to the end of the quest line for Dawntrail, I'm then like, oh, well, there's all the raid quests to do. And there's maybe I'll start getting into triple triad properly and just play cards all day.
I did a random.
There's loads of stuff in this game.
I did a random triple triad. I'd never ever played triple triad apart from like at the beginning when you do
It's
gold
great.
sub, gold saucer. But I went and did a triple triad in Tuliolal in the capital, the new capital. I was like, they're gonna kick my ass. I won first,
Nice.
and I did buy the cloud card ages ago that cost a ton of MGP, which is like their currency for the like kind of what they called the gold saucer currency.
Yeah.
So and I had that, but yeah, it was quite cool. I was actually found it really cool that you can play against NPCs in like the latest expansions without having played it and still win, and you
Yeah.
get like cards and things. I just realized. So I've been playing it for about 8 years, 7 years, 8 years. It was pretty much and I think I did take a break for about 6 months or so. I've worked out I've probably spent just over £1,000 on subscriptions, and that doesn't count as with the expansions.
Wow.
So probably, and I've double dipped with all expansions except for the latest one.
To get your money's worth.
Yeah, it's the Square Enix tax that I pay.
It is.
But I've had a lot of enjoyment from 14, and I still do.
Good.
Anyway, we'll
So
talk
that's,
about that. I think we'll return to that once we've both finished it. Even if I finish it first, I won't talk about it until you have.
Well, it's your main game for now. It's also my main game for now. I've dabbled in some other bits, but
maybe we can have like a special podcast reviewing it or something with it. Invite a couple of people on maybe to talk about it.
We can do that, yeah. But yeah, we will come back to it once we have final thoughts. So this is our sort of halfway thoughts.
Yeah.
So basically, bookmark this and tell us how we're wrong.
leave a comment. Leave a comment on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube, because I'll always make sure to respond to them. But also they don't get lost like in Discord. Sometimes it can be. But look, leave a comment wherever you want, and
Just don't spoil anything.
Yeah, don't be like, oh, don't worry, because coming up you've got blah blah blah. No.
Don't want to know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're nearly an hour in, and we've only talked about one game.
Good.
So what have you finished Dungeons of Battenberg, haven't you?
So I finished Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Not Battenberg.
Not Battenberg.
Love a Battenberg.
I also love a Battenberg, but is it a British cake?
Wow, Ed. Wow.
Wow.
It's not. It's Austrian.
I just associate it with like
don't
British afternoon tea.
Battenberg cake is Battenberg is a light sponge cake with various coloured sections held together with jam and covered in marzipan. That is true. The checkered patterns are on emergency vehicles in the UK are officially referred to as Battenberg markings because of their resemblance to the cake. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Place of origin?
Battenberg.
England.
It is England.
It's an English one, yeah.
Thank you.
It is... The first cake was baked in 1884 to celebrate Prince Louis of Battenberg marrying Princess Victoria, Queen Victoria's granddaughter, and Prince Philip's grandmother. So there you go.
Nice.
I really like it.
I was right. Anyway, Dungeons of
We do
Hinterberg.
good desserts.
We do. Dungeons of Hinterberg is set in Austria.
Sorry, wait. Start talking about. You can tell we're doing this before food, aren't we?
I know, I'm hungry now. I talked about this before, so I won't go into too much detail. It's essentially like Austrian Persona Zelda, and it's very good. It's genuinely one of my favorite games I've played this year. And that's partly just because it's very much my kind of game. It's ticking the boxes for me, but it's just really, really beautifully done. It's a really lovely game. It has a really lovely message. So that's it's the washing machine.
I don't think you can hear
isn't
the
it?
washing machine, but I'll close the door just in case.
Great. It's got a really lovely message to it. What I like about it is that you go into these dungeons and you solve puzzles in this sort of this Austrian town that's imbued with magic, but you're not doing it to, save the princess and fight the evil demons. Like, there is no big quest. It's just you're a woman who has gone on holiday and is completing some dungeons to find peace in her life. Like, it's super chilled, which is a really nice message to it. And it actually comments on tourism and the nature of tourism as part of its story, which is quite interesting. But it's just really well done. The puzzles, it's not too hard either. So it's a really chilled experience to just like sit back and just play some dungeons. And I really, really liked it. Really liked it. So yeah, I've talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I know you've played it a little bit.
I want to play it on Steam Deck, but I'm like, will I go into Final Fantasy? Oh no, I've got 14 at the moment. I'm trying to play first.
But I really think you should play the whole thing. And it's not that long. I think it's maybe 15 to 20 hours.
It's on Steam Deck. It runs well on there, I believe.
Yep. I played it on Game Pass, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, thoroughly recommend that. I finished Dark Souls at last.
You
on
did
stream.
finally. Oh my god!
Finally did the last boss. which was annoying. Yeah, I enjoyed Dark Souls overall. It's been interesting to go back and play a piece of history, but for me, it's just not a patch on Elden Ring. I think the people who like Dark Souls 1 are the people who played it when it first came out and have that nostalgia for it and understand it. And I can totally, having played Demon Souls, which came out before that, I can totally appreciate the jump between them and the advancements that Dark Souls made. But I do think that later Souls games have built on that in better ways. It's iconic. It's got some great bosses. I just feel like it's, by comparison to later games, a little slow and a little clunky.
Yeah.
So that makes it a bit tricky to get into. I don't think it's necessarily more difficult. It just has its own quirks,
Yeah.
I think. And, you know, the speed of, say, Melania or the bosses in the Elden Ring DLC are so much faster and more complicated than anything in Dark Souls. But because you're quite slow and everything is very precise, it still has its own sense of difficulty with Dark Souls 1. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I've played it. I'm probably not ever going to play it again.
Good.
Whereas Bloodborne or Elden Ring, I would happily play multiple times.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I've ticked it off.
Elden Ring, speaking of, I believe I am very, very close to Melania.
Excellent. Are you going to play that this weekend?
That will be my Sunday and maybe after. But yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly you get through it.
I will be playing, against Melania on Sunday.
You're going to beat her like second time and it's going to be really irritating.
No. Although, have you been impressed with how I've played?
I mean, you chose a cheat weapon, so...
Is it in the game? I haven't even fully upgraded it yet.
If it's in the game, it's fine. So it's all good.
Yeah, no, I've got a Bloodhound
but it is
Fang.
quite an OP
It
weapon.
does stagger. It staggers and has blood loss. And then also if you've got your Mimic tier that's got one, it's, well, you should have just done that.
Yeah.
But you're the one, well, you only played Magic because you said Magic's easier. That's the only reason you played
Yeah,
it.
I actually don't think it is, though. I think blood builds are easier. So what I've started, and I'll probably talk about this in the future because I'm now going to stream it the next few weeks. I started another Crab's Treasure,
Ooh.
which is a...
Is it a load of crab or is it?
Well, there's a lot of crab puns in it.
Is the Ooh.
Yeah. It's surprisingly funny.
Okay.
It is a Souls-like game, but you play as a crab, a hermit crab. And hermit crabs obviously steal the shells of other crabs and use them as a home. And so they are taking that idea, but instead of stealing other shells, you basically steal whatever you can find under the sea, which includes bits of rubbish, so cans and bottle caps and all this sort of stuff. So there's a sort of ecological message behind it. But it is a very funny, very colourful, very silly Souls-like game. And
Have you been getting any bacon crabby playing it, or is it quite easy?
a little crabby, yeah. It's taken me a moment to sort of get into the rhythm of it a little bit, but it's good fun, and it's been a nice palate cleanser because I think every Souls game from FromSoft, but also other Souls-likes from other companies, it's always, ooh, we must have something dark and serious and deep,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, fantasy. And here's a game that's just bright and colourful and a bit childish, but in a fun way. So it's nice to have that precise sort of combat-focused game, but in something bright and colourful and silly.
Well, let's talk about that next week then when you're going to play a little bit more. And we'll
Yes.
have... So, yeah, join us next week for swapping crab sticks.
You were just waiting for that joke,
I
weren't
was,
you?
yeah, but we should definitely do it next week.
Yeah. Well, let's see what everyone else has been playing.
What you been playing, folks?
Because we've had a few responses.
Well, you have some
which
good
is
good
nice.
lengths as well. Good lengths.
We like a good length.
Wow.
So we begin with Dan Law, who
Ooh.
says he's finished Baldur's Gate 3. Absolutely loved getting lost in the world and characters. Performances from the core cast are absolutely incredible, especially during Act 3 companion story beats. Neither of us have got that far yet. As an RPG lover, the game has definitely set a new standard. Would have loved a photo mode.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm burping.
That's Baldur's Gate, right? So today I played a video game soundtrack on my on Spotify just to kind of while I was working, and on came down by the river. Yeah, that came on, and I was like, oh my god! It just brought back all the great memories of playing that game, and I think I will. I mean, I will go back to Baldur's Gate 3, but when I do, I just want to play through the entire thing rather than doing an act and then moving, because I do miss playing that game.
I need to get back into it.
Yeah.
Really need to get back into it. Dan says, I've now gone back to Cyberpunk. Improvements to combat and leveling since I last played are great. Nice. Games Mistress, aka Gemma, says, I have dived back into The Sims a bit with the new expansion. I really love all the added elements, including the ability to be a romance consultant, which, if there's ever anything for Gemma, it's being a romance consultant.
But I mean, her response, I'm sure, would be the same. Just fuck.
Wow. As always, I really enjoy the nuance in The Sims, the reflections in the mirror, the really thorough sound editing, and all the little item details. I think this expansion is a good one, but I will always be frustrated by the price of The Sims. I don't think £35 of expansion pack provides the same value of game time that a single £35 game would, but I do think The Sims overall has really great gaming value, and I play it for far more hours than a single game other than Stardew. Because it's free to play, but you pay for the expansions, right?
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, I mean, they're always on sale, but obviously not when they've just been released.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you really like The Sims, they'll know that you're going to buy it at the start. But I think most people wait until like there's a bundle or a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems really cool, and I love that it's still going strong after so many years. But like 14.
Yeah, exactly. Like, surely The Sims 5. Well, they've already said they're working on whatever the
Did they
next one is.
cancel that? Or was that
I
the
think-
online one?
No, that might be something else. But yeah, like surely they've got ideas for The Sims in
Yeah.
future. Like, yeah. The Rob Logan says, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals during the closed beta period.
I was literally thinking about that just now because I've been listening to Nextlander and they were talking about it, and it sounds really good fun. But let's see what Rob thinks.
Essentially, it's Overwatch with Marvel characters from a third-person perspective. As someone that used to play a ton of Overwatch before the shift to Overwatch 2, it's definitely scratching that itch. Hero balancing still needs some refinement, and role queuing would make some games less frustrating, but that's what beta tests are for. I just hope that when it fully releases to the public, the Battle Pass won't be too daunting, because I don't need more unrealistic chore lists in my gaming life.
Yeah. Do we know, is it free? Will it be free to play?
I think it is, yeah.
With a battle pass. Okay. I mean, I don't really care about Marvel, but Marvel games I do really enjoy. Like Spider-Man I really enjoyed. Marvel Snap really, really enjoyed.
You're a secret Marvel fan, I think.
I'm a Marvel games fan because I think it's got the money behind it to make something fun, and they go all in. Like Marvel Snap is a brilliant game. They were talking on the next on the podcast. They were talking our rival podcast. They were talking about what was it? They were like, and there was like, there's another character called Magic. Who is Magic? And I was like, I know Magic. She gives an extra turn in Marvel Snap. No idea who she is, but she's got a big sword and it sends fire and it makes it a 7
Magic
round
with a
game.
CK.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember her.
Yeah. And do you ever heard of her before?
No.
Never. Exactly. And there was somebody else that they came up. Yeah. Oh no, it was from Into the Spider-Verse because there's the character, the Japanese Spider-Man. The one that has the robot with her.
Oh, the anime.
She's in there. Yeah, so she's in it as well. But yeah, no, I'm like, I'll play it. But then maybe it'll make me want to watch the game, watch the films.
I don't think we'll go that far.
You don't want to?
No.
Phoenix Nights.
I've seen enough. Mr. Wibble says, a bit of a repetitive answer. I've been playing Minecraft. Well, I've been Minecrafting, I should say.
Yeah.
Done a challenge room, all the rooms in that structure, and they're quite fun to do. With good gear and the training wheels on Biggest Verse 2, they're not scary. Prettifying my house a bit more, slowly expanding things, and I'll probably try to figure out some sort of redstone contraption. None of that means anything to me.
No,
but maybe it does to
redstone
you.
is like coding in a game. I apologize that I've not really streamed it or been on the Biggest Verse since I opened it, but I am very happy it's still there. I'm still going to pay the $40 a month I pay to keep that up, but I will be going into it and playing it because I really enjoy having a verse. No, I don't have one of them. Having a Minecraft server, but then every now and again I'll just have a real urge to go in and go full and just play it loads. And I'm just waiting for that urge to come back. I might do it during September because September will be Stream It Beat It coming back for Gosh, and it would be cool to have like a challenge through that.
Sure. Yeah,
so we will see.
Nice. Then lastly, we have Random Pasta, and I'm interested in this one. This week, I've been playing the Fallout London mod for Fallout 4, and it's the best mod to a game I've played.
Wow.
It's a full Fallout DLC-sized map with voiced characters and custom-made assets throughout. Fallout London is a little less forgiving compared to the main Fallout games with no hand-holding. If you've never played Fallout 4, this mod might not be a good introduction. There are bugs and crashes in places, although with the help of additional mods and config tweaks, it seems a bit more stable for me. The work Team Folon has put into this project is incredible. Like many mod creators in the Fallout community, they continue to show Bethesda how it should be done.
Didn't they do? Isn't there like a mod fight or something with football shirts happening right now?
I've got no idea.
Oh.
But yeah, Fallout London, it's literally like an entire game in Fallout 4 made by modders, and it's set in London.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool, is that the Fallout games are all set in America, and this is like what would happen if this was in London. And there are loads of like nods to London culture, and it looks really cool. But I've also heard that it's not very stable, so it crashes a lot and isn't in the best state. So maybe it's something to come back to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure once it's stabilized, it's going to be. Are we on the news now?
We can talk about the
If
news.
I can go into the news, my first article.
Oh.
News from Kotaku.
Oh.
It says Fallout London sports mod community devolves into war over soccer versus football.
Oh.
Last week, Fallout fans basically got an entire new game to explore in a new form of blah blah. Fallout now, more mods are already being made for the game. There's actually mods for the mod that are coming out. One mod seeks to bring back some American sensibilities to the franchise, which gets transported across the pond in Fallout London by changing the item name for a football that can be found in-game to a soccer ball. It's a small and innocuous change, so naturally the comments on its Nexus mods page has devolved into war. The mod from user Grumpy Old Nord is titled, What Else? It's a Soccer Ball. Uploaded on July 26th, just a day after Fallout London's release, the description sums up what the mod is all about. Are you an American exploring London for the first time and find some of the lingo a bit confusing? Have no fear. The soccer ball is now properly named so as to avoid confusion with a real football. A recent 1.1 update now also changes the football kit outfit to the soccer uniform. As one commentator in the discussion area of the Nexus mod page puts it, immersion restored. But the Brits have found the mod, the Brits have found the mod and are expressing their disdain for this sacrilegious change. Well, it's this mod who breaks the immersion, fires back one angry commenter. But Americans always think their wording is right, while the whole world knows better. That's a pretty measured response when compared to what else you can find on the mod, such as, reporting this mod for terrorism, writes another Peace customer. Absolutely dastardly behaviour. You deserve 100 fortnights in the stocks. You can tell by the useless you in behaviour that this is an angry Brit. And yeah, it goes on. So
Wow.
fully on board with the anger.
It's a football.
Yeah.
And a football kit.
Do you know why it's called a football?
Because it's a ball that you kick with your foot.
No. It's you play on foot rather than on horseback. That's why rugby is called rugby football.
Great.
Rugby football, and yeah, they call it. And when we went over, and we went over and said hello to the American to America. I think that's how history went.
Sure.
We went
a
over there.
polite hello.
Yeah, and we took it over there as like association football, and we called it, I think, soccer for them, and then they kept it, and now we're like, why are you calling it soccer when we introduced it as association football, which is where soccer comes from.
Oh.
So technically, we are correct. No, they are correct. Well, they're not correct, but like technically, we shouldn't be shitting on them for that. It's a bit
football.
like it's a bit like the U in honor and color.
Let's not get into a war.
Do you
about
know
this.
why we
Oh,
put U's
God.
in that? It's because so before we didn't do it, and then we exported our language. We'll say exported it to America and places, and then the aristocracy in Britain. People might tell me I'm wrong, but I'm right. The aristocracy in Britain want to be. They spoke French up until the 1600s or whatever.
Mhm.
Like the king, like that, the language was French, and so they added U's to be more anglicized and a bit. They were like, oh, well, let's go and add the U to couleur, rather than have this kind of color. Then, we changed it to make ourselves sound more posh. It's not actually the original way of spelling.
And we do sound posh.
Can me standing up for America? Because my dad would hate me so much. He'd be so disappointed.
This is all in jest for anyone listening.
It's
to
not.
be
He
clear,
hates
but
America.
also it's not. Okay, well I'm gonna take us
Any
down
more
a step.
exciting news?
I'm gonna take us down a step to a sadder story, to the other end of the extreme, which is layoffs. Unfortunately, at one of your favorite studios, which is Bungie.
Bungie. Well, I've fallen out with them.
Oh, are you not going to play Destiny 2 now?
No.
Oh.
No, well, I'll play the expansion at some point, but I just got no love for it anymore.
Mm.
It burned me.
It's a
Like,
shame.
it's just a fun game to play, but they just want so much from you.
Yeah.
The great thing about Final Fantasy 14, and I think Yoshi P's brought it up, is like he says you can go away from it for ages and then come back and play what you want.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there are whole stories. So they have patches in Final Fantasy 14, and the patches come out every 3 months, 4 months, 6 months,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that, and they give a few extra story beats, and it just continues in the main story quest. Whereas Destiny, they have their expansions, and then they have their season passes, and the season passes release story every week. However, if you come to it now, let's say you're just going to start Destiny 2, all of those story beats that were in between a bunch of in previous seasons, or the story missions that have linked certain expansions together, they just don't exist. You literally go and play the expansion, and then you go and play the next expansion. All the bits that have been happening in between, and like the events that have been happening, like you can't experience those again. So it's just like
It's FOMO.
yeah, and so you have to play every single week, and you have to do these missions, and there's a lot of repetition in them, and you have to do them every week. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna miss out. And I just find that a bit scummy.
Mm.
But like everything else about the game is brilliant. It looks gorgeous. It plays really, really well. The community is generally awesome, and the people working at Bungie, sadly a lot of them not now, but those that work there have just, are obviously not the top, but have just been, just great people.
Mm.
So
yeah, they this week have basically laid off 220 people, which is about 17% of the workforce. And if you add that to the 100 people who were laid off last October, collectively, Bungie have got rid of about 25% of its workforce in like 9 months, which is a lot. Now, a couple of things that they're also doing. Firstly, they are integrating 155 of its roles into Sony. So
not including those 220.
No.
So it's an extra.
So basically, because obviously Sony owns Bungie now, so they're trying to basically integrate further and not double up on roles. But what they're also doing is Bungie had another game. So they're working on Destiny 2, they're working on Marathon, which has just had its beta. And then they were working on a third game, which is an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe. And that had its own team under Bungie. And what they've now done is they've created a new studio for that team specifically, which has moved into PlayStation. So it's no longer Bungie. So at least we know that is a game that's happening. And clearly PlayStation are wanting to keep that and invest in it. But it means there's now 850 team members left at Bungie, which previously they had 1,200. 1,200 last year. So they've got rid of a lot of people, which is sad.
It is.
Collectively now, I think this year, the total number of layoffs is at 11,200 people.
Like,
which is
how can
ridiculous.
anybody look for a job when there are that many people in the pool looking for ones at the same time?
Yeah. And I'll add to this because I know we both stream on Twitch, and a lot of people here are on Twitch. A lot of our listeners, and this is just reports of concerns from the Wall Street Journal, but there are basically concerns at Twitch that there are going to be even more layoffs there. So they cut 500 people at the start of the year. Last year they cut 400 people, and there are concerns that there's going to be even more this year because they're having a big sort of check over.
It's just not profitable.
Yeah, that's the problem with Twitch. It's not profitable. And they've talked about Twitch becoming a zombie brand. So Amazon has a tendency to buy these things, and then when they don't live up to expectations, they kind of just keep them but don't invest in them, and it just becomes this nothing brand. So Goodreads and Woot are two examples that have been brought up, and people are worried that Twitch is going to go the same way. So it's interesting, like the future of Twitch. When we were both at TwitchCon and I was interviewing people, and they're obviously putting a positive spin on things, but then equally there are reports of actually we have concerns, and it's not, when the CEO is saying this company is not profitable, that's a pretty worrying and damning sign.
I was speaking to somebody who used to work at Twitch. I'm not going to say who, obviously, but they were like, if you're a streamer on Twitch, make sure you diversify your content. and everyone brings this up all the time, but it's like they're not confident about it lasting.
Mm.
I don't know what they could do. It would defeat so much, but could potentially save them. I wonder if you pay to stream on it. There's a subscription that you pay so that you can stream. And as awful as it sounds, it's like those people that stream like just a screen of something, or they stream a game that they're playing to 0 viewers their entire time, and there's no face cam voice or anything like that, and it's just like I'll stream, and they're using their bandwidth. It like might stop them and help them cut down on the servers and stuff that they need. I don't know if that would be like a last gasp.
Maybe. I mean, I guess there's the argument that, people have to start somewhere.
And whether it'll drive people away to YouTube and other places.
Yeah, people have to start somewhere, and then it's a case of, well, do some people stream more often than others, and does that change the payment? Like, I stream once a week, somebody else might stream full time. Do we have to pay the same entry fee?
I would say yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. It might encourage you to stream more. But I mean, people start streaming and they invest loads of money into it anyway. So I feel like some people would be willing to pay £10 a month or whatever to stream. And maybe like once you're an affiliate, you can get it for free. Like once you're an affiliate, other than people just botting and doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
like it's
partner.
people
Partner
will find ways
give it for
around
free
it.
for partners.
Well, then people won't want to be partner, will they?
Wow.
Because
No, 'cause-
oh, sorry, it's free.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the bottom line is that I think Twitch needs some better ways to monetize, and I don't think they've quite worked that out yet. And that is a shame, and it's causing people to lose their jobs.
And I feel like and I think when you go on Twitch, the vast majority of the streams you'll see have got like 0 viewers, and there might be nothing there, and like no one's ever going to tune in. So I don't know if they're the ones that are causing it to cost so much, like that, and whether that's what they'll try and look to remove. But like you said, yeah, you have to start somewhere. But what is the difference with somebody starting with lots of energy, enthusiasm, got the camera, they've tried it, they've got a unique thing and they're going, and then someone who for 3 years has just, whenever they play League of Legends, they shove their stream on and there's no interaction, they don't even look at the chat, and
I don't know.
it's hard to discuss without like seeming like you're putting down people who are just starting out or who just don't really get it. But then, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Twitch decide to do to save more money, and whether they do have to go in like a subscription model, which if that drives people to, well, the thing is like Twitch does offer a lot more than like YouTube or Kick does. Like in terms of services, moderation, all the things that they come up with, like the innovation that Twitch has with like the channel points and all the integrations that they have with the external party developers. So there's a lot there. But and maybe the subscription thing, maybe they would make it so that affiliates and partners got it for free because they're already paying Twitch in their revenue.
For subs.
But somebody who isn't an affiliate, obviously they're not getting any money, and there's adverts, but I don't know. I have no idea what
It's a tricky topic. It's a tricky topic.
And maybe that's not. Maybe it's not the. I don't know. I can imagine it's only that though. That the servers are the things that are costing so much money.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of things that cost money ultimately. So there are lots of different things that need to be monetized in little ways.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes Twitch tries to monetize things, and then all the streamers and viewers are like, "No, we're not going to pay for this." It's like, well, maybe there are some things that you just can't have for free.
Yeah. I mean, like the free trial of Final Fantasy XIV. There's certain things you can't do on that free trial.
Well, true. But also, I think Square Enix is doing pretty well with 14 that they can afford that.
Yeah.
Some
Twitch is not Amazon's Final Fantasy XIV.
No, unfortunately. Some more positive things. The Jackbox games Mega Picker is now out.
Ooh.
And that is basically a sort of launcher for all of the Jackbox games. So there are 9 different ones now?
10.
10.
Yeah.
And to access them on Steam, you have to access them all individually.
It's more than 10 because I've got Drawful, and I think Drawful was its separate game. I don't even think it was included in Because I'm just looking here.
Well, it's funny you say Drawful because Drawful 2 is part of the Mega Picker for free if you download it.
Things actually, I don't have Jackbox Party Pack 1 or 2. So I wonder if it's in 1 or 2 because it might be in 1 or 2 because I've definitely got Drawful on its own as a separate one.
Okay.
But Drawful's great fun.
I don't think we've done that.
We have.
Have we?
Drawful is the one where somebody gets a prompt and you draw it, and then afterwards, when it's the round time, your picture goes up and everybody has to write down a
What they think
fake answer.
Oh, what they think the prompt is?
Yeah, the fake prompt, and then at the end, everyone has to kind of guess what the real prompt is.
Right, okay.
So you've got to draw really well, but it could be something like Cookie Rain or Big Boris's bike, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's can be completely random, but I love Drawful's one of my top 5.
Okay. Well, Drawful 2 you can get for free, along with this Mega Picker. So it's just a launcher.
Mega Picker.
Mega Picker. It's quite satisfying
Well,
to say.
pick is dick in lots of Nordic languages or Northern European languages.
So Jackbox is Mega Dick.
Mega
is what
Dicker.
you're saying.
Mega Dicker.
It just means that
name.
rather than having to load individual games, you just go to essentially Jackbox and then you have everything there, which is nice. And that's available now. So if you're going to be streaming some Jackbox, then there we go.
There's a game that we haven't spoken about.
What?
Chained Together.
Oh.
Maybe we'll talk about that once we finish it, because we're about halfway through.
Yes.
But we played Chained Together. Go and check out the VOD if you want. It was great fun. I need to get a lot of clips from it where we fall and you lose your shit.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. A quick one on Dragon Age: The Veilguard, because they have not given a release date and they just said fall or autumn.
Yeah, we'll change it.
We'll go with autumn. But we now have a sort of more specific time frame. So EA had their financial results, which is blah, 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 numbers, whatever. But in there, they have said that Dragon Age is going to come out in Q3. And the way that works with EA's timings, it's that it's between the 1st of October and the 31st of December.
Yeah.
So basically, it's going to come out within that time. So I know there are a lot of people listening who are really interested and excited for that. So it's going to come out before Christmas.
My guess is November, because when it goes into December, it misses out on loads of Game of the Year awards.
Also, November is when Inquisition came out. So maybe they'll go for a little tie-in with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a little bit more info there on the release date. And then lastly, a little topical one for the Olympics.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, which is on at the moment. And the last few Olympics, we have always had a tie-in game of Mario and Sonic.
I know.
And we don't have one this year, which is sad. And my boss spoke to a producer who, on those games, who was...
Miyamoto?
No. Hang on, what's his name? Lee Cocker. Don't laugh.
Not laughing.
And Lee had already tweeted some stuff about it. I don't know. He'd already tweeted some stuff about it, and my boss spoke to him more. But basically, it's down to the IOC, which is the sort of Olympics committee.
With what's his name, the corrupt guy,
probably. And they chose not to renew the deal with Nintendo and Sega, which is why there isn't one this year.
They must have gone for something really, really... Instead of that, they must have spent the money on something really like modern and really successful and something that has a future.
No.
Oh.
They have decided to invest in NFTs and esports.
Well, no, esports definitely has a bright future. NFTs less so.
Well, esports are coming to the Olympics.
Yeah, but are they coming to... So I know that the esports are coming to the Olympics and they're kind of sponsored by Saudi Arabia, but... the Saudi Arabian government, because then if I say it's the government, then it's like you can be because Saudi Arabia, I'm sure, lovely people, but the government less so. Does that mean that the esports part or the esports wing of the Olympics will that happen at the same time as the Olympics, or will they have their own schedule, and will they only be held in Saudi Arabia?
It's a very good question.
Because I will boycott watching.
Yeah,
if it's in Saudi Arabia. I mean, if they are sponsoring it, obviously then. But if it's like held in California or something, I might be tempted to watch.
Yeah, maybe.
But I would still be like, fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, the Mario and Sonic games were actually really successful and did really well.
I want to play some this weekend with you.
But instead the IOC basically wanted to bring money back to themselves rather than giving it away to Nintendo and Sega. So they just wanted to get more money.
I think Friday Night Wrestling this week should be Olympic themed, and
Sure.
people representing team countries.
We can do that.
That's definitely what we're going to do.
There is actually an Olympics game for Paris called Olympics Go Paris 2024.
Oh,
which
it's on
is
mobile.
a free-to-play smartphone-focused effort from a San Francisco and Seoul-based company, Enway, which looks terrible.
Yeah.
And there's NFTs in it. So thanks, Olympics.
Anyway, that was the news, and that was.
But go watch the proper Olympics instead.
Yeah.
Also, GB are doing really well. We're like 4th on the medal table,
Oh, it's 'cause
above US.
we invest in things where but then the US come back with all their other stuff later on.
Well, there is that.
But
And
also we
also, they
invest
have
in-
more medals, but we have more golds, which are worth more.
Apparently, although is it like NBC or someone that they rank it in total medals?
Well,
bet
that's the
they've
thing.
always
Do
done
you
that.
rank it in total or do you rank it in golds?
I don't care.
China are top anyway.
Yeah, but we invest where there are lots of medals. Like football, there's one medal.
Mm.
Tennis, I think there's one. Well, no, maybe there's different ones, but like there's only kind of in football, I think there's two because there's the women's team and the men's team.
Yes.
But yeah, we do it in like rowing or in cycling where there's like 28 different categories and people get multiple medals. It's like the
Or
US
diving. We've done really well in diving.
Yeah, and I enjoy watching diving.
I bet you did.
I definitely did. And yeah, now I'm an expert at diving, at watching it anyway.
I'm sure
Judging.
you are. I'm sure you are.
Make sure they don't have a splash. Bless France. They were terrible when I watched them. But I didn't realise.
There was one guy that I've seen on Twitter who literally like stumbles on the jump and then just like does a full belly flop.
Oh, I think that's an old one. That's a really old
Oh, is
picture.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I thought
Yeah.
that was new.
No.
I keep seeing that shared.
No,
Oh.
what was I going to say now?
France.
France. I didn't realize that the host country gets like free entry. They get automatic qualification to team events.
Oh.
So that's why in the diving they were all doing pro, and then the French were like belly flopping in and like going all over the place and like finished last, dead last. But like they had a great time. They
Of
were
course.
they were in a
They
gold
had a
medal.
lovely time.
They were in a gold medal match or whatever it's called in diving
competition.
round or something. Because technically they could have won the gold, but they were absolutely no way. But they were having a great time, and they weren't
And I'm
attractive.
sure you had a good time as well.
No, the Canadians, they were attractive.
okay.
Yeah. Canadians are very attractive.
Yeah, they are.
Didn't realise that. Sorry if anyone's Canadian listening. Sorry. They'll understand.
Sure.
But no, it's quite interesting. Yeah, watch the French in the team sports. Because I imagine it was the same with us when we were hosting it, that we came dead last in a few team sports. But yeah, they get
No,
automatic.
because we're amazing.
We're not, though, are we?
We did, to be fair, 2012, we did really well in terms of medals.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of like host countries do quite well in their own. Obviously,
that
they're at
makes
home,
sense.
but they get access. They get entry to a lot of extra events.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Anyway, we have the diving, and then the ladies have
Rugby.
rugby, but also the shooting.
I watched the shooting. That was good.
There's that like I think I'm sure she's Korean, and she's just there with a pistol, looking incredibly cool.
I watched the shooting when there was a British guy with a shotgun that broke the Olympic record and took gold.
Oh wow!
And I was watching that. I've been like, I was watching it on my phone, and could not see for the life of me what they were shooting. Like, because there was also loads of things up on the screen as well.
Mm.
And he was shooting, and I'm like, all I was looking for was the big light next to him that goes green if you hit it.
Oh yeah.
So he shoots, and I was looking like, oh, green. Yeah, no idea. I had no idea what he was shooting. Could have been plates. Could have been fake birds. Could be real birds. I have no idea. In fact, that's what they do with the doves, isn't it? They release a dove, and
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore,
No.
man.
Did you know that the Olympics, I learned this from another podcast,
Here we go.
were not very successful when they first came back? Obviously, like ancient Olympics, yes, that went on for like 800 years, which is a long time.
Mm.
But when they were brought back, I think at the very start of the 1900s,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe before that, they weren't very popular, and so they used to do it alongside the World's Fair. So whoever hosted the World's Fair did the Olympics, which is one of the reasons why the UK has done it. London's done it so many times, but and that's why they had like gold medals in like city planning and random stuff like that, because they awarded
Yeah.
it for stuff associated with the World's Fair as well.
Well, there we go. Facts with Ben, everyone.
I mean, I might be completely making everything up here. I've been coming out with quite a
Please
lot of
go and
facts.
Google and double check.
Please, well, there's no fact checking here, but feel free to fact check if you want.
Please.
Ed, where can we find you? Apart from in the kitchen in a few minutes, hopefully making dinner because I'm starving.
Same. You can find me at ed_nights on Twitch and on Twitter.
And you can find me at Biggest Benners pretty much everywhere. And go to swappingjoysticks.com to check out all of our previous eps. Anything planned for the next week?
Probably.
Oh yeah, we're playing Magic the Gathering tomorrow.
Slash yesterday.
That's yesterday. Yeah, I've never played it before.
No.
I have no idea what it's about.
I've got literally no idea, but I'll be there for the drinks.
Is there alcohol?
Yes,
Great.
sure.
And food and pizza.
Nice.
All right. So we will see you. If I don't see you Fruit Week, I'll see you Fruit Winter. Oh yeah, we're gonna
window.
Fruit Winter. We're gonna Phoenix Nights. I'm literally gonna purchase it on my phone so I can put it up.
Save me.
Bye.
Bye.